This episode is brought to you by Dime Media. Love supporting local but looking to save? I've got the solution. Introducing the 2025 CNY Women's Network Members Card. This is your passport to exclusive year-round savings at over 35 amazing women-owned businesses across Central New York. Whether you're grabbing coffee, booking a spa day, or shopping a local boutique, using your members card means more than just discounts. You're empowering women, strengthening small businesses, and building a thriving community one purchase at a time. Want to see all the offers and partner spots? Head to cnywomen'snetwork.com/members-card or click the link in our bio. And here's the best part. Join the collective by CNY Women's Network and you'll get your members card free with your annual membership. More details at cnywomen'snetwork.com/membership. Let's grow together, one card, one connection, one business at a time. Welcome back to Cultivate CNY. I'm your host, Alex Canavan, and in this episode, we're shining a spotlight on someone who has been instrumental behind the scenes of so much of what we do here at the CNY Women's Network, Aryal Smith. If you've ever double tapped one of our social media posts, attended an event, or partnered with us on any initiative, chances are Aryal has had a hand in making it happen. She was moved by my mission to connect and create opportunities for women professionals in Central New York, and Aryal joined the CNY Women's Network team in 2023 when we first got things started. Since then, she's helped grow our community, shape our content, nurture partnerships, and drive brand initiatives forward. Beyond her work with the Women's Network, Aryal collaborates with direct-to-consumer brands, founders, and content creators to help them build authentic online presences and expand their reach through grassroots marketing initiatives. In this episode, we explore Aryal's journey, her passion for storytelling and connection, and the impact she's making both within our network and beyond. In this episode, we explore Aryal's journey, her passion for storytelling and connection, and the impact she's making both within the CNY Women's Network and beyond. It's a conversation about creativity, community, and the power of building something meaningful together. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Aryal Smith,
Oh gosh.
welcome to Cultivate CNY.
Thanks. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh my gosh. I'm so excited you're here. Like, this is a long time coming. I really want to mix up our content a bit with Cultivate CNY particularly. And this was one of my strategies of doing that. Obviously, you're an expert in marketing, media, partnerships, all of the things that we love. But I also wanted to bring you in and just show you off, I guess. I don't know. I think people need to get to know you more. And I think that there's also plenty of people that think I do this like alone and it's just me. And you've been with the CNY Women's Network since 2023, since I started this. So I'm excited to get into all the things, get into how we've grown this over the last 2 years. I think that will be really interesting, but also get into your areas of expertise, which there's so many, but I'm happy to have you here today. Are you nervous?
I am. I was telling you before that usually I'm the one behind the scenes uploading everything and posting and emailing, and it's a little bit surreal to be in front of the camera.
Well, I think you're going to do amazing. You look amazing,
Thank you.
and I just don't see how this could go wrong. So let's bring it back to 2023. I decided I was going to start the CNY Women's Network. And I knew that the first person I hired had to be a marketing, social media person that can help me with that workload.
Mhm.
And how long was the job posting up? Like literally like a day or two?
It had to be so fast.
What was your strategy there? Like, I'm like, this girl knows what she's doing.
So I'm going to be honest, 9 out of 10 times that hasn't worked for me, just cold DMing someone. And you were like the one time where you replied right away. And I was like, yes.
Which honestly, I never reply right away. So
Okay, so it was a little bit like of a magical moment for both of us then. But I saw it And I had just moved back to central New York, and I really wanted to get more involved in the community. And I just like felt immediately aligned with what you were doing, what you were building, and it sounded so exciting. And I was telling you during our first interview, like one of the things that really got me excited about it was I feel like women have lifted me up so much in my career path. And to be able to give that to someone else or to help them on their path with that, that just means so much to me. So,
Yeah, you've
yeah.
absolutely helped me so much in so many different
Oh my
ways.
gosh.
And I've told people before, I'm like, the way that you cold DM'd me and the way that it literally just perfectly worked out. I mean, so just to put into perspective, Aryal cold DMs me. I post this job on LinkedIn. This is my first time ever like hiring anyone to work with me. So this is my first time leading someone, interviewing someone, and Aryal reaches out and I said, "Okay." It was a great message. And I was like, "Okay, let's meet for coffee. We'll just
Hmm.
see where it goes." I had a few other meetings lined up, but I hadn't talked to anyone else yet. So we meet at Cafe Blue and we got coffee. And Aryal just has this very calm energy. Like,
That's so
like,
funny because I would say the same about you.
well,
A little bit hyper at times. But
me?
for the most part, like when you speak, your voice is very calming.
Okay. I think it's a facade. It's an act. Um I identify myself as someone who is very type B, very chaotic. So to be around someone like Aryal, she's got a very grounding presence. Anyone who's met her, been around her knows what I mean by that. But you told me that you had like the green flag for me was you were like, "You're certified in meditation, aren't you?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, I trust her. I trust her with my whole life.
Immediately.
She's a meditation teacher. Like she obviously has her craft together."
Oh my God, I love it.
And I'm like just being so real right now about that, but I also just like loved your story, how you grew up, and you've got such an incredible skill set and unique experience, and your experience I knew was perfect for what
Oh.
I wanted to build. So after 45 minutes at Cafe Blue, I said, "Okay, you got the job." And at first, I remember feeling like kind of guilty because I was like, this is the first person I've talked to and she's got the job. Like there's no way I did my due diligence, and I was like, a new leader. So I felt kind of guilty and felt like I wasn't being thorough enough, and
Yeah.
I have done many things in my life that were just very like not spontaneous, but maybe spontaneous or impulsive. I can't decide which word, but I don't know. I just kind of was like, this isn't how other leaders do it. Everyone kind of checks off all the boxes, make sure they talk to everyone before coming to a conclusion. But I don't know. All I can say is it's worked out.
The vibe was there.
The vibe was there
Yeah.
and it's totally worked out. And since then, I've told people, I'm like, I feel like God delivered me a Ryle. Like I just feel like you were the perfect person. And sometimes I think that maybe like things are supposed to be that easy, Like they're
Yeah.
not supposed to be, there doesn't have to be all these steps to come to the right decision?
I think you were aligned in that moment. Like, I've had a few moments in my life where it's just felt so easy. And I'm like, this is where I'm meant to be. And after meeting you that day, I felt the same way where I was like, yes, this is like exactly what I need. And this is the person I needed to meet. And the stars were aligned.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just curious, like I said, this is my first time being a quote unquote boss, even though I really don't identify as like your boss. That's not how I see it at all. But I kind of want to get like What is, like, the most annoying part of working with me?
The
Like,
most
I kinda
annoying
want you to roast me a little bit, but, like, what can I improve upon, Aryal?
Oh. Well, first of all, Alex, you are wonderful. I mean, it has been an absolute joy and a privilege working with you, and I'm not just saying that. I feel like you have inspired me so much, just your work ethic and how passionate you are. And Alex is such a connector. Like, I have no idea how it is even possible to know as many people as Alex does. And to like, she'll meet someone and she'll be like, oh, you should meet blah, blah, blah. And she'll just know. Like, you're like a matchmaker, but for professionals, which is
That's
really
cool.
cool.
I've kind of thought about being a matchmaker for, like, love partners too, I guess. I've been told I have a knack for that, but anyway.
Yeah, but for networking.
Yeah, I love connecting people, I don't know. People remind me of people, and I've always, like I think people are the best sources of knowledge, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think it's because I don't have that traditional, like, 4-year higher education background that, like, most people our age do now, but, I've had to kind of, like, work around that, and
Yeah.
how I've done that is just through knowing people, understanding people, hearing people's stories, and I'm just always loved people, so, yeah.
Well, I can tell. You have a beautiful knack for it.
But you didn't roast
Okay,
me.
the roast. Oh my
You're just too
gosh.
nice, Araya. I know you're too nice, but be real.
Okay, well, I feel like Alex falls into the camp of many founders where you're very busy. This
Mhm.
is something
I'm
that
too busy.
every single business owner can relate to. I mean, I haven't met one who isn't busy, calendar full, super booked. Same with managers too. You don't have to be a founder necessarily. But one thing that I do need to do, which I'm happy to do it, is follow up with Alex multiple times.
Yeah.
But I'm so happy to. And I know it's because you have a gazillion things. You're meeting with Syracuse University, you're meeting with the president of this other company. I'm like, of course she doesn't have time to look over this quickly or to, to give approval on this or to get back to me on what she'd like to do with this campaign. Like, you're a booked girl. So, like, it's not a problem.
Well, you
But you
have
did ask
so
for a little
yeah.
bit of a roast, so I
Well,
will.
yeah, and I totally, like for me, I'm, like, so aware. I'm like, "Oh gosh, I suck at communication, like, I need to be better," but you're right, I am too busy. I've been in this era of, like, really looking for what can we get rid of because I know that I'm too busy, and it's such a distraction because even though, like, being the founder, like, you have to be at the meetings, right? And it's important for me to be out and about making these connections, obviously, because that's how the money happens,
Yeah.
right? So, but it really is important to also just have that balance, I think. And that's why I have to, like, have dedicated days of the week where I do meetings, and
Mhm.
then the other days, absolutely no meetings, no calls, because it's hard for me to just sit down and focus in general, but I can't do that if I'm back and forth and trying to get things done in between meetings. It's just not effective.
Yeah. 100%.
But okay, all right, that's good enough. That's a good enough roast.
But again, I don't want you to feel bad about it because I think
No,
every
you're so
founder,
gracious
every
too.
manager, they all fall into that camp. And it really is just about like finding time to connect quickly, even if it's for 10 minutes or, whatever it is, but nothing to feel bad about.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing, like, that's one of the reasons why I'm so grateful for you is that you have so much grace and understanding. And, I mean, you've worked in the startup space for your whole career,
Yeah.
basically. I
Mhm.
mean, so you get it. And, I think that that's one of the most important things maybe or pieces of advice that I can give other founders is the first few people you hire are going to have to be people that you trust. And I don't mean just trust to like do their job, but people that you can be a mess with
Yeah.
and people that you can ask for grace from, ask for forgiveness from. Cause it's truly like I've learned a lot in the last 2 years. And I've just really learned a lot of like, you know, the things I should improve upon. But I'm just glad that you have been so patient, flexible, gracious, and understanding and also helpful though. Like you are here to help. And for someone like me, like the business that I was running before this, like I was a makeup artist. So the only thing I
Mhm.
had to keep track of was myself and my makeup kit, right? So I didn't have to manage other people or really bring people on board, get people to buy in and build something with me. So it's been humbling
It's a
to do
different
that.
ball game.
It's a totally different ballgame. And also I think that like when you're used to doing things just on your own and only having to worry about your own competency, it's just like hard to ask for help, I've realized, you know?
Yeah.
But like I feel like I've learned how to do that. And I think you've given me that space. So I
Oh.
appreciate you.
Oh my gosh, I appreciate you. I really do. And like I think what you went back to when you said you're so helpful, like that's what I want to be, especially when working with founders and like business owners, is like you want to feel like they can trust you and depend on you and lean on you in more than just one way, like not just doing your job, but going a little bit above it and being there on the hard days and like having those conversations. Like that's really important, especially as you're growing a business. So I'm glad to know, like, it gives me relief to know that I could be that person for you in some capacity.
So, okay, let's talk about I mean, so you came on board and literally 2 years ago, right around this time. Do you know what like your first what the date was? I mean,
It was October, I think.
it's like October,
I
the
think it was
beginning of October, right?
October.
Yeah, so we're coming right up on our 2-year anniversary. What has been we've done so many things over the last 2 years. Like
Yes.
how we've definitely hosted over 100 events. What has been like your favorite project or campaign?
It's been so cool working for the CNY Women's Network because every single project is fun. Like, we get to bring women together, we get to celebrate women. We get to uplift business owners, every single project. I'm like, this is a dream. Like, I could be selling, no offense to these people, but like insurance packages. Like, that's a very real job. Or I could be working at a dental office, but instead we get to plan like Galentine's Day parties and our CNY Women's Summit and the Supper Club. So it's hard for me to pick a favorite. I think it really goes back to the pieces of content we've worked on where I'm like, oh, that's something I really loved. We recently did the coffee meetup, and that was really cool to just see you at Cafe Blue and see like the owner shine. And then, of course, the CNY Women's Summit.
Mhm.
That's I mean, just a dream of a project because it's so cool to be able to see it in the beginning stages when we're just talking about concepts and ideas and partnerships, and then the day of and all of the excitement that comes with it. When I,
It's a real summit. Like you hit that peak there, you know,
yeah,
and like that's what our whole year revolves around, honestly. So this season right now, we're just starting that uphill trek. And then March it's going to happen and then this summer we're going to get a insane dopamine crash and it's going to be hard to function again. And then we're going to do it all over again.
yeah, come April, we'll be in bed working on our laptops from there.
Yeah. I'm going to have to schedule a spa day like right now just so I remember to do that.
1,000%. But like I had that same feeling working at Shocks. We would do races all of the time, like marathons. And it was so cool. Like being at the New York City Marathon couple of days before the race, and some people work their entire lives to be there, and it's like it's a lottery system. You don't even know, necessarily that you're going to get into the race. So to be there for those moments, I feel similar, like at the summit. Like this is a huge event for some women. Like they get all dressed up, they get to go out, they get to network, they get to listen to inspiring speakers. It's cool to just be part of that excitement and see projects from like start to finish.
Yeah, the summit is special. That's how all of this started in the first place. My favorite part of the summit is at the very end of the day when we like pull people on stage and give them that chance to get on the microphone. And it's always people that have never gotten that chance
Yeah.
before, you know, and they're so grateful for it. And they feel like something really shifted in them that day. And I mean, there's so much impact that happens at events like the summit, that are that full day experience, because it really forces you to commit to your growth, commit to, making those connections and putting yourself out there. I really liked the retreat that we just hosted in
Oh my gosh,
in
that was a
Racket Lake.
dream.
That was our first retreat. It was a lot of work. It was a big risk. We've never hosted like a multi-day event before. So it was stressful. I mean, everything is stressful leading up because we're just on this hamster wheel, but hopefully I think we're going to get ahead of things for 2026 for sure. But yeah, that was huge for me because I don't get to go on retreat a lot, but the last time I had went on a retreat was right after the second CNY Women's Summit 2023. And
Mhm.
that retreat that I went on by myself. So I actually got, a chance to listen to my intuition for once without any distractions. And that's when I decided that I was going to drop everything else and build the CNY Women's Network.
Oh my gosh.
So this past retreat was a big one for me too. And yeah, I can already tell. Like I just think that something changes. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking for a sign everywhere right now. That's an era I'm in right now. But
Yeah.
yeah, I really loved the Camp Collective. And I also just think that we are so lucky because these projects give us this chance to be creative and to create something and bring something to the Central New York market that isn't being done. and
Mhm.
and especially if we see it being done in larger cities, and the fact that we get to create these things and give the women in this region that access to those opportunities, like that's why we do all this. So it's just so fun to like brand,
Oh
these
my gosh.
like a cute campy retreat. I mean, we're so lucky.
It is like I was saying, it is the dream marketing job. Like
Yeah.
so much fun all the time. And I love that that was like a full circle moment for you. And it makes me think like how many other women out there like have been to a retreat and they have that breakthrough, or they will go to a retreat and have that breakthrough, and we get to like kind of help with that. That's really awesome.
Yeah, I mean, not to toot my own horn, but I think we might be changing lives, Aryl.
I love it. I love it.
We have been told that we've changed some people's lives, and that's why I so believe in this work. And even though it's so fun, that isn't to say it's not gritty.
Mhm.
Honestly, it's not. That's not to say it's not a ton of work, because like truly, you be putting in that work, girl. I'm like I
You
you
do
no, but you've
too.
got a really great work ethic, Ariel. Like you are a doer, and it's very impressive, and you're so consistent. And I don't know what your like personal life is, but I just feel like you have to be a super disciplined person to get all of the things done that you get done.
Oh my
So,
gosh. Well, honestly, like working with such passionate people, and that goes back to what I was saying, like working with founders and startups, that fuels me in itself because I'm like, this is amazing, this thing that we're building, and I'm so excited about, and I want to see it succeed, and I want you to feel good too about the work you're giving me and feel that you can like hand it off. So that makes all the difference too. Just like having that excitement built in and working alongside you.
today's episode is fueled by our newest collaboration with Project Lean Nation Syracuse, and it's called Lead Her Fuel. We've built this limited edition protein shake to celebrate National Women's Small Business Month and the women leading across Central New York. The flavor profile is light, bright, and not too sweet, just the way I like it. And we've got some dragon fruit, strawberry, pineapple, plus your choice of plant-based or whey protein. I'm a whey protein girl myself. And you cannot forget the watermelon aminos, which will help you feeling strong and more focused. If you're ready to try it, you can head to Project Lean Nation Syracuse in Camillus now and ask for the Lead Her Fuel protein shake. You can grab one for yourself or treat a colleague who's been crushing it. This is your sign to lead boldly, fuel wisely, and get the Lead Her Fuel protein shake today at Project Lean Nation Syracuse in Camillus. All right, back to the show. What is your favorite part when it comes to marketing? Is it like the content part, or is it partnerships, influencer
Mhm.
marketing? Like, where do you really thrive, you think?
I would say that my wheelhouse tends to be more so content partnerships, including brands and influencer marketing as well. But where I get the most excited is just diving into the strategy with anything. So if I'm coming up with an Instagram reel, like, okay, what's the strategy for this? If I'm doing an email campaign, same thing. Of course, there's not always a ton of time to dive into it, but being able to be very strategic and data driven, that's where I feel like that lights me up. Yeah.
So when it comes time to create a reel, like, okay, we got to get something out. We know we want to promote this thing. What is the first question that you ask?
Well, with any piece of content, I think it goes back to three principles. So the first is like, what are you trying to do? What's your goal with this? The second would be, who is our target audience? Who are we trying to reach? And the third is, what kind of value are we delivering? That's what I try to go back to with everything. Full content strategy, same thing. Pieces of content, same thing. But just getting really clear on those three categories, I think helps with every piece of content. And for social media specifically, making sure it's entertaining because we're in a world where we're just hit constantly with pieces of content, and being able to entertain or elicit some sort of emotion, it helps so much with that.
Yeah, we're constantly being sold at. And we know it too now. So it's like, as soon as we can sense that's what's happening, goodbye.
Exactly. And you can still sell. You can sell your services, you can sell your product without coming across as an ad. And so that's kind of like the key in marketing, I feel, is you don't want the end user to feel like it's an ad. You want them to enjoy whatever they're consuming.
Yeah. And that's why, marketing partnerships and sponsored content is so great over just like submitting an ad to whatever, media outlet you want to get in front of, right?
Mhm.
So when you say value, what kind of value can we provide that's aside from entertainment that can also help us convert customers?
Yeah. What's in it for the end user? So what's nice about the CNY Women's Network is a lot of what we're doing already has so much value packed into it, but it's finding how can we get it to that next step. So we have a networking meetup that involves coffee. Our audience is full of women that love coffee and they love discovering new local cafes. So having something where we highlight a local business and we highlight maybe some coffee drinks that they have coming up, that adds value because that's exactly what our target audience is looking for. You want to go to this coffee meetup to network, to meet people, to be in community. So things like that.
So, what are you seeing on social media right now that brands are doing that you think is not working? Like what do you think small brands, especially if someone is running their own business right
Mhm.
now, listening to this, they don't have the means to hire a social media specialist or assistant, what should they avoid trying to do? Because what I tell a lot of people is, like you said, what is the goal? What is the
Mhm.
goal behind all this? And I think a lot of what I've realized a lot of small business owners get themselves stuck in is thinking that they need to invest so much time and energy into being consistent on social media
Yeah.
and showing up day in, day out. And depending on what your product or services that you're selling, the thing is someone can be following you on social media, but it might take them an entire year to actually buy from you. Or they might not buy
1,000%.
from you at all because social media is a platform where they can go and consume your knowledge or your value for free.
Mhm.
So it's like, are those customers actually there? And is this a platform that you should be actually trying to sell on? Or is this a platform that you should just be using solely for creative, expression purposes? Because I think social media is wonderful for that. And it's so great for building this brand presence and, building brand awareness. But
Mhm.
I think a lot of small business owners think posting on social media equals sales. So, if you were talking to a small business owner,
Mhm.
what is the first, where would you start to help them out?
The first thing I would do is if they already had a social media presence, doing a full audit and understanding where are things at right now? What's working, what's not working, what can be refined, what should we cut back on, and building the strategy from there. If they don't have a social media presence, that's another conversation. But after the audit, or if they don't have a social media presence, sitting down with them and getting really clear about their goals. Because, like you said, some business owners go into it and they think, once I start posting on social media, the sales are going to come rolling in. And I wish that was the case, but with organic social media, there's so much value outside of sales. You just have to be aware of it and see it as a tool to help you get to your end goal. So it's not necessarily that you're going to do some posts on Instagram and it's going to result in sales on your website. But those posts might get seen by customers who would have never found out about you another way. Or maybe you post on social and it gives one of your potential customers the nudge that they need. Oh, yeah, I wanted to buy that product. I never did. Let me go check out their website. Things like that. But like you said, it's not necessarily like a return on investment right away kind of thing.
So, once we have this audit, we can, understand what we've been doing, right?
Hmm.
So far. But how do we start creating a strategy from there?
Yeah. I think if you've been posting to social media for a while, you don't even have to, like, say you don't have the funds to hire someone in marketing yet. You can go onto your social platforms right now. Instagram just added a feature where you can see your monthly highlights, which is super helpful. And you can just see what posts are performing well, what areas aren't performing so well, and kind of refine things there. There are going to be posts that sway the analytics. So, for example, if you just did a huge product launch announcement, that post is likely going to perform really well. Or if you have a giveaway that goes out, your engagement is going to be super high on those posts. So, you kind of need to take it with a grain of salt. Before that even existed, I would like to go through and just look at the last 30 or 60 days and see, okay, what were our top performing posts and what were the patterns? So, based on our post, I can tell like our audience loves discovering local businesses. Our audience loves community based events. So things like coffee meetups and Galentine's Day, that gets our audience really excited. Something that might not perform as well is maybe some like professional advice, even though it might sound like it would, but it doesn't get as much engagement and reach as those other posts. So it's just something to be mindful of as you're developing your strategy and deciding how often you want to post about certain things. And of course, going back to the goals. And again, who is your target audience and how are you delivering value? That's super important. And not just posting to sell product and to sell services and making that what each post is about. Instead, how are your services and products adding value? How is it benefiting the end user and making that what your content is about?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. They say like you got to show the transformation instead of just telling talking about the benefits. It's like, okay, we all know the benefits, but I want to see the proof or at least see this product in motion, right? How can we implement this into our daily lives? Which is why I think like just organic, which is why UGC is a
Mhm.
great form of content, but also I think I just love that there's so many brands now that are prioritizing more of like the behind the scenes, building the product, launching the product. I think there's so much community building happening around brands right now, which is really
Yeah.
fun. And I mean, the CNY Women's Network is a community brand first, and now we are starting to come out with more actual services and products. But let's talk about community building. I feel like you have such a interesting perspective on this because of your time with How to Cake It and even Shocks, popping up at all of the marathons. And there's so many really fun ways brands build community for themselves. What do you think are the most important parts of building community?
For me, it always comes back to understanding your audience. And I'm going to drill that home because it's one thing to think you know your audience and another thing to do the work behind it and really understand who these people are that are interested in your brand and then build content around that and build community around that. So at Shocks, we had open ear headphones, which was all about safety. You can hear your surroundings. So cars, nature, other people. And we found that it's incredibly useful for runners. And of course, going into designing the product, that wasn't the first thought. But through listening and seeing who our audience was and how people were responding to our product, we were able to hone in on that. And so everything with our social media presence when we were building it was how can we benefit runners? How can we create content and create a community that runners want to be part of and are excited about? Not selling product, not selling the headphones, but instead driving that value. And then later comes, oh, I really want to buy those headphones. That brand is so awesome. I saw them at a marathon. My friend has these headphones. They run with these headphones. My coach does. It blossoms from there. But without understanding your audience and having those early conversations, it's hard to get to that point.
What are some of the ways that brands actually build community? Like, what do those initiatives look like?
It depends on the brand. I
So
mean,
I think I think one of the obviously like events, right?
yeah.
That's like a huge part of it. But I think a really interesting way that brands build community is through gifting and being able to like understand who you want to represent this brand, whose hands you want these products to be in, and just
Mhm.
gifting those products to those people. Because like you said, I think a lot of it is like someone either admiring someone or just simply knowing someone that has this thing and they also need that thing too. So why not just buy the same thing as this person?
Yeah.
And I think that that's a really just seems like such a natural, slightly low, maybe not as low cost or cost effective, but a lower lift way aside from hosting events. Because as you know, events are a lot of work, and
Yeah.
not all size teams have the capacity to also be hosting community events on top of their regular business operations.
Of course. Yeah. Being part of those VIP bags like we hand out at the summit, that's such a great way to get your product or at least your website out to the people that you want to reach. So if you're reaching women professionals, that's the perfect way, honestly.
Yeah. Our VIP bags for the summit is something that we definitely want to dive into a little bit more this year too. We want to start working with bigger brands, bigger, consumer product brands so we can get some awesome products into our VIPs bags.
Oh, another thing too with community building is an ambassador program. And here at the CNY Women's Network, we have the collective, a membership program. But having something like that your audience can be part of, even if it's a Facebook group, where again, the end goal isn't to sell products, it's to provide value. So, maybe it's a Facebook group, you sell headphones, and you have a Facebook group about running wins, running lows. We did stuff like that. We had an entire campaign about injuries because obviously, as a runner, that's top of mind. So, injury prevention, the mental toll going, that comes with going through an injury as a runner, but providing places where your community can come together and have conversations.
Yeah, because it might be totally unrelated to the product that you're actually selling, but not totally unrelated. But in retrospect, you wouldn't have thought that this would have been a campaign that we would have done as a headphone company, right? But
Yeah.
it makes complete sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And just, again, paying attention to trends. So maybe you start and you're marketing to runners and then you dabble a little bit in other verticals and you're like, wow, this is really taking off with people who work in factories. How can I meet this audience? How can I start to bring them into my funnel? So, just getting really clear on who it is that's visiting your website, who's buying your products, who is following you on social media, even if it's just, let me look to see who followed me. Obviously you want to get a little bit more data driven than that. But
Hmm.
I think that's a great first step as a small business is who are the kind of people who are commenting on my posts and and leaving reviews.
Yeah, and what are their problems? Like what are some of the other problems that they have that we can potentially solve that we aren't addressing yet? I think that's a
Yep.
really great way to think of it, especially from a growth perspective.
That's the perfect way to come up with content ideas too. What are the top problems that people come to you with? What are the top questions your customers come to you with or potential customers and building content pieces off of that?
Yeah, and I think like we're we're lucky because I mean, I'm literally the the consumer that we're trying to serve. Like I've basically built a brand that I needed that didn't exist. So
Mhm.
it's been kind of easy to like figure this out for the CNY Women's Network because we are boots on the ground and we're hosting, an event every week. So we're hearing from our audience and
Yep.
we're listening to their problems and having real conversations with them and understanding what they're thinking about, what they're concerned about right now. And we've just been so busy, I think, trying to develop the brand and to get things out there. And I'm excited that we are starting to kind of narrow our focus and pull back a little bit on events so we can spend a little bit more time actually, you know, serving our audience with content that I think will really resonate with them.
Yeah.
And so we're just getting started, but I'm excited too because I really do want to. I was listening to a podcast today that said understanding how to finally like step into your feminine energy and not just be, especially for like, you know, business women, just high performing women in general. It's just we're so used to just doing and getting things done, right? But there's so much power in being able to stay still and to let the emotion come through. And she was
Mhm.
the the host I was listening to said one of the best, like she's like, "Yeah, you can use AI to like help you, map out your content. That's great. Good for you. But whatever content comes from a place that is emotionally driven, not obviously like negative headlines always do well, but we don't really love to do that here at CNY Women. We like to err on the side of positivity, but if there is something that like I for example, I posted on LinkedIn last week about something that I've been experiencing that has been a vulnerable subject for me, but the fact that I chose to write about it and share my thoughts and reflect on it and share that with my audience, I think there's so many people that resonate with that. And
Yeah.
the post itself performed really well. But that just goes to show that people want the real stuff, I think.
Mhm.
And I think the beautiful thing about building this brand is that we do have the pleasure of truly knowing our audience, like face to face, having real conversations. And so, like, a lot of the decisions we've made based on events and initiatives have been based off of like the feedback I've heard
Mhm.
and the struggles that I've been hearing women talk about. So that was a little bit of a tangent, but
No, that's good.
I
That's
just think like we are in this era of cookie cutter AI generated everything. especially when it comes to strategy, and I think if you have the ability to be able to really like dial in on your audience, like you said, get to know them, understand them, and, you know, make those data driven decisions, it's like a no brainer because
Yeah.
the success just follows after that.
Absolutely. Lean in.
Lean in, baby. What are some brands that you really admire, like that you just love their content
Oh,
strategy? You
besides
think
ours?
like
What do you mean?
some big brands that like we all might recognize, like for example, Rode is obviously a power,
Mhm.
genius marketing. You know
Hmm.
what else is fun? Have you heard of the brand Fishwife?
No.
It's like they do like sardines. And they're kind of like
The sardine
they're like
trends.
rebranding sardines. It's a tinned seafood company,
You
but
know what? I've been seeing sardines everywhere, so I wonder if that's where it's coming from. The sardine purses and
it's kind of a vibe. It's definitely a vibe. But I love that like there's another Good Girl Snacks.
Oh my gosh, I do follow them. They're
Yeah.
awesome.
Hot girls eat pickles, so we made pickles sexy. Hot Girls Pickles is our take on the all-American classic. It's like it's just I love that there's like just these consumer products brands that are totally rebranding like such normal products and
Mhm.
making them cool.
They're having fun with it. And I think the other cool thing about them and about the CNY Women's Network is like having a whole other presence just about the founder and the founder's story, like getting on LinkedIn, building your personal Instagram, and like building a sub brand too. That's really cool. And you don't necessarily have to have a full marketing team to do really cool content like that. And you can be more vulnerable. You can share parts about the business that you might not post to the business page. So that's a really cool strategy too.
Yeah, that's something I definitely want to do more of is like just open up, share more, talk, like reflect more. I mean, I'm very reflective in my head. It's just very rarely do I sit down and actually type things out, but
Yeah. But that's fun about Good Girl Snacks too, because like they're behind the camera. Like you see the founders, you get to know them, you feel like you're part of the team, and like it's a cool experience where it's not just like you're swiping through photos of their products. You kind of get to know the people behind it.
what do you think turns a follower into a community member? Do you think it happens over time or do you think it happens through events? Like, how do you think brands actually go from trying to build the community and actually building that community?
That's a really great question. I think it comes down to what opportunities are you giving them to become part of the community? And are you giving them enough of like are there any low-hanging fruit type opportunities like where they can just go and join a WhatsApp group or a Facebook group? Uh do you have events often? Like we host events all of the time. So if you miss the last couple of walks, guess what? There's two more, bestie.
Yeah, there's
Like
always something.
there's always something going on. And like, you have to think about your own life. Like, there's so many brands and businesses and events and things that you see that you're like, oh, yeah, I'm really interested in that. But how many do you actually find the time to go to, or you think to purchase, or you plan to purchase? So it does take time, and you have to give different opportunities and like, don't make like the end all be all like this is my one service you have to buy and that's that. Like being able to offer a range and offer that range often and reminds your followers too like of these different opportunities. I think that helps a lot.
Yes. So cuz I think it's one thing to like host the event, right? But then what
Mhm.
happens?
Yeah.
Like, that's not really community building if they have nowhere to stay, right? So where are they going after that event? And I think like maybe a special like member newsletter is something that you send out once a month to just keep these people in the loop.
Mhm.
WhatsApp groups are great. Facebook groups are still such a thing. Even though you know my reluctance to get actually opening that app, it's like a jump scare for me. Still have to make a new Facebook because I've had mine since I was in 5th grade. So if you've friended me on Facebook at all within the last 2 years and your request is still pending, just know that nobody's getting accepted.
As soon as Alex opens it, she's like, "I'm closing this immediately."
It's bad. But I find at least Facebook groups have always been like really active and really popular,
Mhm.
but I'm sure there's a lot of people that can relate to this because I've talked to other community builders and there's such a struggle. It's really hard to get people to engage like in this virtual platform. I
Mhm.
think at least with our audience is primed for live events. So they're really only interested in getting in person, right? And those in-person connections. So that might be part of it.
Mhm.
But what are some ways that we could ramp up engagement in our member WhatsApp group?
Ooh.
Because I actually am supposed to send an email out to members today and just to remind them, like, hey, this is here. This is a resource. Like, this is
Mhm.
where you go to do these things. Because, there's like, I've noticed a lot of our members mainly use it to just be like, hey, there's this new coffee shop I want to check out. Who wants to like meet up and do work? So
Okay, so that's good. So that's something to lean into then. So like how if those are the conversations that are already happening, how can you optimize that? That's like a great place to start. Another thing you can do is like just start chatting more like in the different I know we have different channels. So even if it's not you per se, but like myself, Rebecca, someone on the team, but being like, "Hey, did you hear about this new coffee shop that just opened up?" Or, "Hey, I just had a massage and it was incredible. You guys should check out this person." But just trying to keep those channels a little bit more active. Um, and like, even if you're the one starting the conversation, eventually more conversation will come from that because it's also reminding people, like, hey, this exists. And it goes back to that people have so much, going on and so many things to do. And so, like, the first people to think about the WhatsApp group is us, our team, probably not our members, at least not yet. But then eventually, they'll get to a point where they're like, "Oh, I'm going to send this in the WhatsApp group." Like it's second nature because they've been keeping up conversations in it. They've been interacting in that. But another thing too is, if conversations aren't happening over time, which isn't the case for us, but for other businesses, maybe WhatsApp isn't the right avenue for you. That could be the case as well. So, just listening and doing that audience listening and seeing what is going well and what you should continue to refine versus removing the rest, like the rest of the noise.
yeah, I like our overall WhatsApp group because
Me
I
too.
like I like all the little groups that we have in it, and I think that there's like we've got a good strategy there. I think that you're right though. I should probably engage in it more
Even if
myself.
it's not you,
But
you can delegate that.
yes, I can delegate that, but I also am like I'm personally just like so fatigued when it comes to
Yeah.
messages. So I don't blame people for like not wanting to engage in that. It just feels like another thing to do. But I also think that when it comes to community building, it's not just building the community, right? It's
Mhm.
also keeping the community going. I
Yeah.
think that's the other side of it, especially for these community, business models and brands like us. It's our membership community is part of our revenue,
Mhm.
part of the business model. So it's important that we keep it going. And I've talked to other community builders that have struggled, and it's like, I say this all the time. It's one thing to build the community, it's another thing to keep it going, man. So, why do you think people stay in communities? Like, have you seen other communities that like really did something right or really worked? And why do you think that was?
So, just talking about Facebook groups, I stumbled upon one a few years ago. It's super value based. It's all women entrepreneurs, whether you're freelancer, business owner, whatever. And everyone either has ADHD or they suspect they have ADHD. And I think groups like that are so specific and already provide value just off the name, people are excited about, because that's a huge challenge people with ADHD have is like, I mean, just speaking from my experience, that's a huge challenge you can have is just finding community and finding resources as you're building your business. And maybe it's not ADHD, maybe it's being a mom and being a business owner.
Mhm.
That's a niche that would feed so like just feed the hearts of so many women out there who are like, I want to start up this business or I'm at a challenging point in my business. And I really just need help and resources and community. So that's a place I would naturally go if I were a mom and I was a business owner and maybe facing some challenges. So just ensuring that you have that value packed in, I think makes a huge difference. It's one thing to follow a brand, but it's another thing to be able to follow a mission and something that you feel deeply connected to, something that really resonates with you and that you want to continue to evolve in.
Mhm. So let's talk influencer marketing. This is so we have our members, which we all of our members are basically our ambassadors. That's just how we see it. But we haven't actually developed an actual ambassador program. You've developed many ambassador programs. You've helped brands figure out their influencer marketing strategy and clearly influencer marketing in general is one of the has become one of the largest, I think, areas in marketing for brands now. So let's talk about it. I don't know much about it myself. When you are starting to build out an influencer marketing strategy for a brand, where do you start?
I want to make sure that myself and whoever I'm working with, whether it's the founder or a manager or whatever it may be, we're both aligned on the goals. That like for any kind of partnership, any kind of campaign, any kind of initiative, that's always my number one concern is I want to make sure we're aligned, we have the same vision in mind, we're communicating, I'm sending updates, I know what benchmarks we want to hit, and that's like top of mind for sure.
What are some of the different reasons why brands invest in influencer marketing?
One that I worked with in the last year, so they had a really great photo shoot and a really expensive video shoot that didn't happen. And so they're small, they're growing, and they need things to post on social media. So, we could post a bunch of stock images and those would do terribly on Instagram and everywhere else. Or we could get super intentional about budget and lean into UGC. And that I think is a really strong strategy for businesses that are just ramping up is if you don't have an in-house marketing team or if you don't have the budget to be doing photo shoots all the time and video shoots all the time, leaning into content creation and working with content creators who know what they're doing is that's going to make a huge difference in terms of developing your brand presence on social media, online, and you get the extra benefit of being able to collaborate and be tagged in posts, which helps your reach and your following over time.
Yeah. What do you think is like I've also heard, the big scary like the small brand that spends all this money on like the one influencer they think is going to like make the brand, right? I feel like there's a lot of brands that have gotten themselves into this, a little bit of a pickle like
Yeah.
this. There's so many different kinds of creators out there now. If a small brand had like little to no budget, where would they start to develop a UGC or influencer marketing strategy? Are there like places small business owners can go, like directories with like
Hmm.
smaller creators that might be more affordable or
There is. There's a ton of different programs and a ton of different services out there. We used Grin influencer marketing back when I was at Shocks, and that can be used as like a discovery tool. So similar, it's a platform like you have Monday and Slack. That's another one. So there's things like that. You can join affiliate marketing programs and work with people who are doing affiliate marketing that way. One of the best ways I think is honestly the search tool on Instagram. So if, the CNY Women's Network, okay, who's reviewing businesses in central New York? And we find the top videos in that. Okay, we already have 5 content creators in central New York who are making the kind of content that we need.
Mhm.
So DMing them and starting a conversation that way, I think is a really easy and accessible tool for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some really great creators I feel like that have been popping up here in the last couple of years too. I love
Yeah.
to see everyone creating content. I love to see all the local business content that is out there now. Um, so you say then you start having a conversation, but what does that conversation look like? Like if you are a small brand, what can you offer? How can you incentivize a creator to work with you and kind of make it work with you, even if it's just in the beginning?
So it depends on the creator. If you're working with someone who has an established following, you can ask for a media kit. They should have one. And it kind of breaks down what they charge and their following and their audience and the kind of content they create, all of that. If it's someone who's just starting out in content creation, maybe they don't have a media kit yet. That doesn't mean you shouldn't work with them, right? Like they can still have amazing content and be on their way to someone that has thousands and thousands of followers. So don't just look at following, basically.
Hmm.
You want to make sure that their content is something that you align with. You want to make sure that it's engaging, that their engagement rate is high. So when you reach out initially, just gathering more information and getting an email or scheduling a call, if they have a media kit, requesting that, and going from there.
I love it. I'm like getting hype. I low key want to like make myself a media kit.
Yeah, you absolutely should. I mean,
It's been one of the things on my to-do list, but I think I might do that tonight.
so I you should. I met with someone actually last year and he was a LinkedIn influencer.
Yeah.
And I
I've
was
been
like,
seeing
of
that.
course, like that exists, but it's
Yeah.
not something you really think about when you're scrolling through LinkedIn. Some brands are paying people on LinkedIn who have a presence, who have a following and amazing content to post about them.
Yeah,
So,
especially in like some of the best paying brands for influencers in general are usually like tech, SaaS tools, stuff like that. And then it's like beauty and
mhm.
wellness. But Slay, I'm just gonna become an influencer.
Absolutely. And then we can okay, so when I worked at How to Cake It, we did that. Our co-founder, Yolanda Gamp,
Okay.
she's incredible. She's basically an influencer, a celebrity.
Yeah.
And when we would get brand deals, I don't know if this is spilling too much tea or not, but when we would get brand deals, she would be part of that. So not only are we posting on our main channel, but we're also involving her and her brand. So that's
And you
another
can
element.
Yeah, you can do that as like an additional audience, like add on, I guess you could say.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
So you can have the Alex Canavan brand, the CNY Women's Network brand, and then opportunities to work with both.
And Cultivate CNY.
And Cultivate CNY,
Period.
obviously.
Let's get after it, girls. Let's get that bag. Okay, so I also really want to touch on the fact that I mean, you obviously are like a marketing extraordinaire, but like you are pretty business savvy too. Just like understanding how to make businesses work. And so when you were at Shocks, you helped them scale down, which I found really interesting, right? You guys went from 38 to
Um,
8 employees or 35 to 8?
so what happened was we actually switched our headquarters from Syracuse to Austin. So
Okay.
as a necessity, we had to scale down the team and then rebuild in a new city.
That's really cool. I mean, it must have been crazy stressful. Talk about Shocks just in general, how you got that job, what role you played, and then tell us a little bit about how you helped them navigate that whole shift.
Yeah. I mean, we could do like a 10-hour podcast episode on this, but
I'm like, girl,
it's a story. It's a journey, but it's so funny because talking about when I started that job, it's so similar to when we met, where we were just talking about at the beginning of this episode. But when I shook my manager's hands, I just knew. I was like, something is going to come out of this. I don't know what, but I had like the craziest feeling that this was about to be a wild ride. And I was so I
a
don't know
wild
what was
ride.
going on, but um yeah, the universe was like, just you wait.
I didn't know that Shocks started in Syracuse.
Yeah,
Wow.
right over East Syracuse, Carrier Circle.
Yeah.
We were right over there.
And why did you guys move to Austin?
That was the stakeholders. That's what the CFO always had in mind, I guess. I didn't know it until it happened.
Mhm.
But he saw that there was more opportunity out there for talent. I think it also makes sense for businesses who eventually want to go public to be in a city. So maybe that was a factor too. I'm not sure. But yeah, they moved from good old Syracuse to the big city, and it was a lot. I mean, there were a lot of challenges that came with that, just that transition.
Do you
Um,
think like I mean, I feel like for as young as you are to have the professional experience that you have is like you have I don't know, do you think that that experience taught you so much?
oh, absolutely. Like I'm so grateful for it. I feel like some of the best ways to learn is like, what is the saying? Like when you're thrown in the fire.
Yeah. That's the only way I learn apparently.
Right? Like you just I mean,
Treading
that's
water.
exactly. I mean, you're really thrown in and it's like sink or swim. And that at points, not the whole journey, but at points that was part of it. And I learned so much. I mean, it was such a great opportunity. And that team, the people I worked with, it felt there were so many moments that just felt like magic where I'm like, I'm surrounded by so many incredible, smart, talented, passionate people that just inspire me to show up and give it all I have. Um, and you can't get that just anywhere. So that was really cool too.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. How I mean, I'm sure it wasn't a smooth transition from 35 to 8 people, but like what do you think worked? You know, cuz I just feel like that's you don't hear about stuff like that a lot. I feel like brands don't talk about those transitions or those things that happen. So I'm just
Mhm.
like really curious. Like, I'm sure it was a whirlwind, but how did you guys survive that?
Yeah. How did we survive? No. I think I mean, it's tough, right? There's so much that comes with it. One piece of advice I guess I would give myself and anyone else going through a major team transition like that is know your people. Get to know your people and managing two people, they're not the same, even if they have the same position, the same background, the same experience. Everyone is unique. and brings a different background and personality and communication style, and they prefer a different management style. And so, especially when you're going through a major team transition, whether it's moving, layoffs, hiring someone who's higher up and is managing a team that has been there, things like that, it's really important to know the people that you're working with and kind of understand the tendencies and be able to give a little bit more care. It's no longer about efficiency, right? You want to make sure that you're someone that people can come to and that you're giving them all of the support and guidance that you can possibly give to help them succeed in their role and in the overall team.
Mhm. Yeah. It's tough. There's a lot of things to manage, and I think, like, when you are building a brand, you think of this you just, like, look forward, and you just
Yeah.
think of the growth, but things happen, and sometimes you do have to scale down, burn things down to build them back up, essentially. And I think that that's something that no founder, like, ever anticipates on having to do
Mhm.
with their business, but it happens. So I would love to just hear more conversations about how people do that, because I also think, like, it's just from my own perspective, it's easy to, like, get ahead of yourself when it comes to growth.
Mhm.
You're not you're thinking of all the ways you can grow, but you also have to think of, how are we going to sustain this? Is this actually the growth that we want? Yeah.
I think that's so spot on and something that,
Cuz not all growth is good growth, like,
yeah.
and being I mean, this is huge for me to say that, cuz this is something I probably wouldn't have been able to wrap my head around like a year ago.
Mhm.
But like I said, we're in this era of, like, really trying to narrow our focus here and really decide what it is that we should be doing and want to be doing.
Mhm.
And it's really all about getting rid of the things that aren't working anymore, aren't serving us. And there's so much, like, magic in that. And I've always been one of those people that's been like, more, 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 give me more. Like, we need to add more. But now I'm realizing, actually, it's the complete opposite.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of, like you said, a lot of founders are just busy,
Yeah.
and things become diluted, and there's no impact when things are diluted. And I think, like, we start businesses because we want to make an impact.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Being very intentional. And I love what you said when about growing. How should we be growing and how do we want to be growing? Because those are two different things, right? And just because something is working and you're seeing progress doesn't necessarily mean that's the way you want the business to continue. That doesn't mean that's the business you want to be building. So those two things need to happen and
Mhm.
work with each other. And that's good that you're building your business with that intention.
Aryal, what is one thing you hope for the CNY Women's Network in 2026?
Ooh.
I feel like we're like just getting started. You know what I
I
mean?
do I do too.
Like, I
Like
I low key feel like we're gonna pop off.
me too. I mean,
I'm just kidding.
so much has happened and yet I feel like we're just starting. I mean, I my hope is that we continue to reach and impact more women. We inspire, we connect, we empower, we do all those things we believe so strongly about because at the end of the day, like we're all here just trying to find our way in this big world and we got each other and
Mhm.
that's getting us to where we need to be. So, or where we want to be.
Yeah. I hope that whatever we do, you know, helps the women in our community thrive and prosper.
Mhm.
Honestly, I think that's a huge reason why we've created this, because women need a place to go to be seen, to be held, to be supported. And there needs to be a place for women to go and get the support they need with no strings attached.
Yes.
And honestly, I think sometimes the only way for that to happen is for women to be supporting women and for there to be no, ulterior motive and no agenda there. It's simply just, hey girl, I got you. And that's that. Because like at the end of it, I mean, we're all trying to build lives that we love, right? So
Yeah.
I just hope whatever happens in 2026, we are making women's lives more abundant, more beautiful, more fun. And I think we're definitely gonna do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely, we will. I mean, we're already on our way, so.
Yeah, we're just gonna keep slaying. We're gonna slay all day. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Should we add a little CTA? Let us know how we can better support you on your career journey.
What does thriving look like for you, honestly? Like we say we
Ooh.
want to help women thrive, but it's like what does that look like? And I know for a fact like I said prosper. I know that women thriving has something to do with women making more money.
Oh yeah.
That's how I see it. Um and I want to definitely help the women in our community make that happen, especially our women business owners that need more opportunities to make that happen.
Mhm.
But we also have our corporate girlies that are in our audience that and in our membership community that are just simply looking for a space to connect and like feel seen because there's a lot of you know there's we have such a diverse membership community.
Mhm.
It's not for like any specific type of woman. It is for growth minded women in central New York because we really stress this positive optimistic growth mindset. But I love the fact that our membership itself is kind of a take what you need situation because there are so many different options for people and there's different reasons why people join. So we've got a lot of members that are like maybe they don't own their own business, but they are running their own book of business, right? So like for
Mhm.
example, they're a financial advisor and they are in a pretty male dominated industry. Everyone knows I mean, so a lot of people join networking groups because they think that this is going to be like how they're going to get clients.
Mhm.
That's a strategy that people take when they join groups like ours. But I think like everybody understands that it's not a networking group, it's a community. And
Mhm.
so I really love the fact that we have definitely attracted such like a real genuine women that are genuinely just interested in being a part of a community and not just being here to get something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But at least for our women business owners, they get to take more advantage of like some of the other member benefits like advertising, visibility, stuff like that.
Yeah, providing that connection. I mean, in the times that we're in, we're so disconnected from each other. So being able to provide that community aspect to people who are really craving it and having a safe space that people feel seen in, that they feel heard in, that they feel celebrated in. I mean that is huge to be able to provide that.
Yeah, and I think something I definitely want to do more of in terms of our content is how can we celebrate our members more?
Yeah.
So we are going to be doing that like this month for National Women's Small Business Month. I reached out to our members and said, "Hey, we want to do a carousel post on this date. Here's what we need from you guys." And so we'll be able to feature 20 different members and tag them and basically what they're going to be contributing is like just like a piece of information in relation to what they know, right?
Mhm.
So that should be an interesting post, but I want to definitely come up with some more creative ways that we can highlight, feature our members, not just like for being members, but highlight their strengths, their expertise, and hopefully create more value for our audience just in general.
Yeah. And I think too, the community calls, as you were speaking, I was thinking of that too, is just like being able to highlight members in those calls, like that provides value. And I
Mhm.
love that we have different themes for each one. So, like, maybe this month's theme is about finances, but next month's theme is about marketing. And like it's cool to be able to segue into different topics and have different members be like, "Oh, actually, I'm I work in this industry. I have something to share here." And like being able to highlight them, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. What I've realized is that we, I mean, what this has become is like just a place for women to be seen. And I
Yeah.
think like that's really just where it starts. And you know, given the fact that like I think I started this community because for so many different reasons and I've like gone into it, but I think networking is so important, especially being someone who like has doesn't have that 4-year degree that most people have and like someone who's always kind of felt like inferior when it comes to like their resume. I've always had to kind of go in the side door to get opportunities,
Yeah.
but it's worked and I just fully believe like all women need is to be seen more and to be celebrated more and the rest will just follow cuz I have no doubt the incredible powerhouse women, in our community, like they'll take care of the rest, but we just need to give them that platform so they can get to where they're going.
1,000%. And being able to lift other women in the process, like it makes such a difference. Like once you're there, being able to say, "Hey, let me bring this other person up right next to me because they have something to add to." So as we continue to give those opportunities, like seeing that domino effect is really cool too.
Absolutely. Like we can't be the only ones doing it, right?
Yeah.
It's a team effort
It takes a
and
village.
takes a darn village and we're allies, so. All right, Aryal. Well, we're gonna have to do this again and go on plenty more tangents. We certainly will do this again, but I just want to say thank you for dedicating your time and your beautiful spirit,
Oh
and
my
not
gosh.
only today but also to the CNY Women's Network for the last 2 years. If anyone's listening, no, you can't steal her from me, but she does still work with founders and stuff like that. So hit
For
her up.
now. I'm
Hit
just
her
kidding.
for now until I can pay her the big bucks.
No, it has been the biggest, like, so much fun working for you, Alex. Like, honestly, I feel like I was going through like a tiny bit of a rut before I started working with Alex. Like, if you work in marketing, if you know, you know. Like, it's
It's tough.
easy to get there. And you really brought so much fun and joy back into it for me where I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I forgot how much I loved this. I forgot how much I loved editing videos and coming up with silly little captions and seeing events in person and seeing how things turn out and just dreaming up different ideas." And like, it's been so much fun and it means the world to me to have your trust and to to be able to work alongside you. So thank you for having me as part of your team and allowing me to be part of your journey, because I know with any founder, like that business journey, it means so much to be able to have just a small role in that. I'm like, wow, that is the biggest compliment. So thank you.
Well, girl, it is not a small role. Trust me. You I truly don't know where we'd be if we never met. I know for a fact that you are a huge, huge reason for all the growth that we've had over the last 2 years. And you are such an asset, like truly. And I admire you so much. I feel so blessed and lucky to have someone like you on my team because you know so much more than I do. And
No, just
I mean,
different things.
but it's like, but it's beautiful. Like I'm just like, that's the dream, right? Is that's what they tell you. You got to hire people that are smarter than you. And here's the thing. I know what my strengths are. I'm good at just being out and about and
So
and
many things.
being the face, I guess, right? But like I've also learned so much from you over the last 2 years, and I just feel so grateful to have you on this wild journey, and I can't wait to see. We gotta sit down next year, and we're gonna have to do this a yearly thing and just, like, talk about the last year,
A
I think.
recap. I love it. We need another recap episode.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for
Cultivate
having me.
CNY is not going anywhere, and, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. Hope you enjoy. Whether this is your first time tuning in or you've been listening since the beginning, I do not take it for granted. When I started this podcast, I honestly didn't know where it would go. I just knew that I wanted to have real conversations with people doing meaningful work right here in Central New York. 2 years in, this still feels like a dream, but I also know that we are just getting started. If you enjoy what we do here, please join the 32% of people who tune into the show regularly and follow us on this app. And here's my promise to you: I'll keep showing up with my whole heart. I'll keep inviting guests who inspire me and asking the questions that I know matter most to people like us, people building something right here in CNY. So thank you for being a part of this.